in. Marine Le Pen obviously had some idea that this wasn't going to be her victory tonight because the party at Marine Le Pen headquarters was supposedly going to be brought to a close at around 10 o'clock this evening. So they obviously had a steer through the course of the day that it wasn't going in their way.
Yes, this is a small venue. If you were looking for a venue in which to hold a medium-sized wedding, this is where you'd come. It's not a huge campaign venue at all. So when we got here earlier today, the smallness of the venue really gave us an indication as to what the campaign was thinking. They did put out several dozen supporters in front of Marine Le Pen on the stroke of the results being projected. They booed, they then sang the national anthem. Marine Le Pen came on a few minutes later and gave that rather subdued speech. But of course, that was also an important speech. She talked about transforming her movement. I checked that with one of her senior officials afterwards, and he said to me that it would be a new party under a new name, but with many of the same ideas. And I did say to him, well, if it's the same ideas, it's the same party. He said, no, others would join us. They have to reflect on this. Is 34, 35% good enough or not? They may have hoped to get to 40% to make sure that she was unequivocally the opposition leader. Is 34, 35% really enough to say that you're the opposition leader, to put you one step away from the 2022 election? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, that is an interesting thought, isn't it? She's had a very public row in the last few days, James, with her father, Jean-Marie Le Pen, who has been saying in the French media that she hasn't run a very good campaign.
No, of course, she gets to say back to him, I doubled your votes in 2002. Do you remember in 2002, I don't know if you've been talking about this on your programme so far, he barely increased the Front National's vote in the second round. He got 17, I think, 0.8% of the vote. She doubles that this time. And that is what they're clinging on to tonight. They say, yes, it's a loss, but actually it's a success in other ways because we've doubled our second round performance and we've smashed, from their point of view, the Front Républicain, the Republican front, by which all parties would simply join together and unite against the National Front. They believe that they've put a crack in that tonight.
OK, James Reynolds there at Marine Le Pen's HQ, thank you very much. I am just keeping an eye on the projector down here because Emmanuel Macron is going to talk, and I want to bring it to you as soon as he makes that speech. Seems to be rehearsing at the moment, so we will just remind you of the projections that we've had so far. Pretty convincing, according to the projections we've seen. There you go, Emmanuel Macron on 65% and Marine Le Pen on 34%. Let's go straight to Emmanuel Macron.
Et c'est une grande responsabilité.
Gratitude towards you. It's a great honor, but it's also a great responsibility because nothing was written in advance.
Merci.
And I would like to say thank you to you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And my gratitude is for all those of you who voted for me and supported me. I will never forget you, and I will put all my efforts, all my care to be worthy of the trust you've put in me. But at the present, it's to all of you, the citizens of my country, all of you that I want to speak to, whatever your choice. There were lots of problems that made us weak for too long, and I'm aware of all of them: the economic difficulties, the social problems, the democratic difficulties, the moral weakness of the country. And tonight, I want to salute, in a Republican spirit, Madame Le Pen was my adversary. I know the division of our nation pushed some into extreme votes, and I respect that. I know the rage, I know the anxiety, the doubt that lots of you also expressed. And it is under my responsibility to hear them and to protect the weakest and to organize solidarity better in fighting against any form of discrimination, of inequality, and making sure in a resolute way that your security will be guaranteed. And I will also guarantee the unity of the nation. Because behind the words, all the words I've just pronounced, I know full well that there are faces, there are men, there are women, there are children, there are families, their whole lives. And behind that, it's you and all the people around you. And tonight, it's to all of you that I'm speaking, because all together, you make up the population of France, and we have a duty in relation to our country. We are the heir of a grand history and a humanistic message to the world, and that message, that history, it's our duty to pass it on to our children first, but also, more important, we have to carry that towards the future, and we've got to give it a new blood. And I will protect and defend France, its vital interests, its image, its message. It's a commitment I take before you. I will defend and protect Europe, the common destiny that the people on our continent have voted upon. And it's our civilization which is at play, our way of living, of being free, of carrying together our enterprises and our hopes. And I want to make stronger the link between Europe and the countries and the government that make it Europe and its citizens. And on your behalf, to all the nations of the world, I give the salute of a friendly France, a brotherly France. And I say to the heads of these countries that France will be there to defend peace and international cooperation and the commitment taken as far as development and climate change. And to all of you, I'm saying that France will be in the first place to fight against terrorism in France, but also at international level. For as long as that battle has to last, we will be there fighting without any weakness. My fellow citizens, it's a new page in our long history that is being turned tonight. And I want that page to be a page of hope and of trust recovered. The renewal of our public life is something that is going to start from tomorrow onward, and the greater moralization in our public life, the pluralist approach, the vitality are going to be the basis of my action, and I will not be stopped by any difficulty or obstacle. I will act in a determined manner, but respecting all of you, because through work, through school, through culture, that's how we're going to build a better future. To all of you, people of France, my fellow citizens, tonight I would like to salute President Hollande, because for 5 years he's worked for our country. And for the next 5 years, my responsibility is going to be to calm fears and to make us believe in optimism again and to recover the conquest spirit, which is the best definition of the French spirit. My responsibility will be to gather together all the men, all the women who are willing to face the challenges that we have to expect. Some of these challenges are also pieces of luck, like the digital revolution, the restart of Europe, and others are threats, like terrorism. I will fight. I will fight with all my strength against the division which is so delirious to us. And that's how we're going to be able to give to the French nation, to all of you, in its professional life, in its familial, personal life, the chances that France owes to its citizens. Let's love France, and from tonight and for the 5 years to come, in a very humble way, but with a total devotion, with total determination, I'm going to serve our country, I'm going to serve France on your behalf. Long live the Republic and long live France.
So that was Emmanuel Macron making a very sober statement at his headquarters in the 15th arrondissement. I was just thinking, very different to what we saw in 2012 when President Hollande became president. On that occasion, he was in Toul in the south of the country. Of course, he had a constituency, which Emmanuel Macron doesn't. He's never been elected, but he went down to speak to his supporters in Toul, and then he flew back to Paris. And on both occasions, he made speeches from the stage, but it was very clear as a 39-year-old man that he wanted to make a very sober, serious statement to the French people to try and unite people tonight before he heads here to the Louvre. These pictures that you're seeing here in front of the pyramid of the Louvre, where obviously it will be a big celebration a little bit later on. Well, with me is the journalist and broadcaster Christine Ancron, and also Yves Bertoncini from the Jacques Delors Institute. Welcome to you both. Christine, no great surprises then. We thought this might happen 2 weeks ago, that Emmanuel Macron would be the next president.